Now, the Electoral Commission should be able to tell us that when we came in, we came to meet 20 servers or 50 biometric system or whatever that they came to meet. Now, they were supposed to perform these functions. As a result of the way forward, these systems will not be able to meet the requirements. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Then it will sound a bit logic for any individual who want to follow this issue to begin to probe further. If you came to meet a server, every server is unique. It is to perform a certain function. That is the reason why those systems were built. Okay? So when you came in, what did they say? What was the technical advice given to you regarding the systems that you came to meet and their functions? You need to let us know. And then also give reasons why moving forward these systems cannot support what we intend to do in terms of 2020 election. Is it that the system, what do you call it, needs more storage capacity? Is it that the operating systems are not performing properly? Is it that there's an interoperability issue? These are all technical issues that one would have to delve into to be able to conclude that the system is not compatible or will not be able to meet the demand of 2020. But when you come out and just say that the system is overstretched, it makes no sense. It is overstretched in what capacity, in what sense? Break it down to, to the understanding of the ordinary person so that they can appreciate. What the EC is failing to acknowledge is that there's something called accountability. And the EC is accountable to the people, because it's the people's taxes, the people's investment that they are using for whatever that they seek to do. And therefore, if you are not coming out to tell the people the reason or reasons why you need the upgrade or to change the system, then you're trying to create the impression that you're not accountable to anybody. And what it means is that there's something fishy about the whole process.
And I know that is the key. The key issue is that's the key point. We have been asking the EC to come and explain to us why they are going ahead, why they think there's a need for a new register. Now, from listening to what they've told you and from the way they have reacted throughout this whole issue, do you feel that the EC feels that sense that they have to be accountable to the Ghanaian public?
No, they feel that they have to be accountable to the president. That's what I'm sensing. They are only accountable to the president. They only listen to the president, and then they play according to the dictates of the president. That is what it appears to be the case. Mind you, you recall when this whole debate started, Madam Jane Mensah brought up the first excuse, that the system is in the hands of foreigners. You remember that excuse? Two, the staff of the EC, i.e. the IT staff, they were not trainable. She cited a whole excuses, including the fact that the IT room is so dusty, and therefore, it doesn't meet international standard or modern standard, something to that effect. All of a sudden, they have switched the argument to where they are saying that the system is overstretched. And I recall I made mention of the fact that, listen, when it comes to managing huge data, the sensitive data of that nature, in Ghana, in as much as we do have IT personnel who have all the skills, so on and so forth, it is very rare to find companies that have that long-term experience in developing database, managing a huge quantum of data in that regard. Therefore, if it is in the hands of foreigners, that is not supposed to be the problem. What is supposed to be the problem is the integrity of the data and how accessible it is. These are the two things that you have to be worried about. The integrity, i.e. security of it, and also how accessible it would be for the users. Okay? If the system was not built in Ghana, what it basically means is that it will be difficult to find people who will be able to come in and say, no, you know what, even though we were not the ones that built it, we will be able to manage it unless you are trained, because it is customized to meet a certain standard in that regard. So the Electoral Commission not appreciating the reason why, for example, if I am managing the EC database, there's no way I'm going to give an administrative password to Madam Jane Mensah because she's not savvy in that regard. Should I give, in case I give her that password or access, administrative rights, and she deletes something by mistake, who will be held responsible? So it is not a matter of the fact that it is not in the hands of Ghanaians that counts. It's the integrity of the data and how accessible it is. So there and then you get to know that, okay, this is more like they are trying to cook up an agenda, but they are finding all the excuses. And then the argument also came in that of cost, that it is so expensive. It is so expensive, you know, in managing the biometric system, so on and so forth, especially when it comes to its maintenance. Now, when you made that argument in the past, all of a sudden, you have gotten enough resources, or you've forgotten about the stand that you took, and now you want to go and invest more to procure items that will not serve the purpose of 2020 election, because we already have it. The system is compatible. The system can run for as long as 100 years. In any case, if they want to be all prudent, if they want to be all Ghanaian, okay, and like they were trying to sound, why wouldn't they hand it over to NITA? Because the national database is there. It has all the state-of-the-art infrastructure that can handle the EC and any database that the government would want to run. Why wouldn't you hand it over to the NITA? So at the end of the day, when you put two and two together, you'd realize that, look, there's more to it than what they are telling us. It is not a technical issue. It has nothing to do with the fact that it has been overstretched, but because they just want to change the register. Now, in my mind, Senna, it brings you back to, let me take you back a little bit. Leading to the 2008 election, I recall the then chairman of the Electoral Commission, what's his name, Dr. Afrajan, came out to say after the registration said the system had been bloated with over 2 million voters. Okay, so there and then you realize that we had a problem with our system. At that time, the NDC was in opposition and the NPP were in government, leading to the 2008. The NDC did not cry foul, but rather stick to its guns and played according to the rules and then won. Subsequently, the system has been upgraded, you know, from manual to now biometric, of which we are making massive improvement in this sense. Now, in 2016, leading to the 2016, you recall Dr. Baumia did this voodoo, how do you call it, presentation, claiming that some people were from Togo and all the analysis that he puts together. What they were trying to do basically was to be able to have access to the database of the Electoral Commission. So they were trying to probe the system indirectly to know what is in there so that they can use and manipulate it for the 2016 election. For whatever reason, they won the 2016 election. They still don't believe that the database that exists is something that will serve their interest moving forward. Therefore, they would want to have a new system where they can bloat it in their stronghold, where they can reduce it in the stronghold of the opponent, and to the extent that they are trying to link it with the National Identification Authority, where Kenatofua is the boss. Okay, and because they are behind time, I am telling you this, they realize that they are behind time with the Ghana card issue. Now they have to throw that aside and go fully and say we are changing the system, and then make sure that they will increase it in their stronghold and decrease it in that of the opponent's stronghold for the purpose of winning an election. That is all there is to it. They just want to manipulate the system. And Jane Mensah would have to be extremely careful. She would have to acknowledge the sensitive position that she finds herself in and what it means to the destiny of Ghana. If she will not be neutral, if she will not be accountable to the people, then she would have to also be ready for the consequences of her actions and inactions. But I can tell you, Senator, there is no need for a new voters register. It is waste of time, waste of Ghanaian resources, and we all have to kick against it.